The hardest lessons in life rarely arrive wearing the face of an enemy. They often come smiling, offering comfort, speaking words that sound like loyalty while quietly carrying intentions that do not belong to your well-being. There is a certain sorrow in discovering that not everyone who celebrates your victories is happy for you. And not everyone who walks beside you is traveling in the same direction. Some people admire your light only long enough to find a way to stand in front of it. Others applaud your dreams while secretly hoping they remain unfinished. That is the quiet reality many of us spend years refusing to see. Life has a remarkable way of introducing us to people who teach us exactly what love, friendship, honesty, and trust should look like, and just as importantly, what they should never become. Every conversation, every promise, every handshake, every embrace carries the possibility of truth or disguise. The world is filled with extraordinary souls whose kindness can change your life forever. But it is also filled with those who wear masks so convincing that even the wisest hearts can mistake performance for sincerity. Trust is one of the most beautiful gifts we possess because it allows human connection to exist. Yet it is also one of the most delicate treasures we can offer, for once it is broken, it leaves behind questions that echo louder than answers. The scars left by deception are often invisible, shaping the way we love, the way we speak, and even the way we see ourselves. But those scars do not have to harden your heart. They can sharpen your wisdom. Today's journey is not about becoming fearful of people or closing the doors of your heart. It is about learning the quiet strength of discernment. It is about recognizing that genuine character reveals itself through consistent actions, not polished words. It is about understanding that protecting your peace is not an act of selfishness, but an act of self-respect. Because in a world where appearances can be carefully crafted and intentions can be skillfully hidden, your greatest strength will never be trusting everyone. It will be learning who has truly earned your trust. One of the greatest mistakes people make is believing that appearances reveal character. We are naturally drawn to confidence, charm, and kindness expressed through words, but words alone are among the easiest things to imitate. Character, on the other hand, cannot be performed forever. It is revealed slowly through choices, consistency, and the way someone behaves when there is nothing to gain. Yet many of us place our trust in first impressions, polished personalities, or shared interests, believing these are enough to guarantee loyalty. The hidden cost of this mistake often appears much later. When disappointment replaces certainty and betrayal takes the place of comfort, a pleasant smile can conceal jealousy. Generous compliments can hide competition. Constant attention can sometimes be a strategy rather than affection. Not everyone who agrees with you truly supports you, and not everyone who offers help genuinely wishes to see you succeed. Some people study your strengths only to discover your weaknesses. Others celebrate your achievements publicly while quietly resenting them in private. This does not mean the world is filled with enemies, but it does remind us that wisdom requires looking beyond appearances. True trust is not built in moments of excitement. It grows during ordinary days through repeated acts of honesty and reliability. A trustworthy person keeps promises even when they become inconvenient. They respect your boundaries without making you feel guilty. They protect your confidence even when sharing your secrets would benefit them. Their actions remain steady whether life is easy or difficult. Consistency is the language of genuine character, while inconsistency often reveals hidden intentions. Many people ignore small warning signs because they hope things will improve. They excuse repeated dishonesty, overlook disrespect, or explain away selfish behavior because they value the relationship more than the truth. Unfortunately, every ignored warning becomes a silent invitation for greater disappointment. The hidden cost is not only the eventual betrayal, but also the loss of peace that comes from constantly questioning someone's motives. Living with uncertainty drains emotional energy, making it difficult to experience genuine security in any relationship. Trusting appearances can also lead us to doubt ourselves. After discovering someone's true nature, many people blame themselves for not seeing the truth earlier. They replay conversations, revisit memories, and wonder how they missed the signs. Yet, deception succeeds precisely because it is designed to look convincing. The lesson is not to become ashamed of your kindness, but to pair kindness with discernment. A compassionate heart becomes stronger when guided by careful observation rather than blind belief. It is important to remember that authentic people rarely spend all their energy trying to prove they are authentic. They allow their behavior to speak for them. They do not constantly seek admiration or demand unquestioning loyalty. Instead, they earn respect through humility, honesty, and integrity over time. Their presence brings calm rather than confusion, confidence rather than anxiety, and encouragement rather than quiet competition. Learning to recognize these qualities protects your emotional well-being and allows your trust to become a gift offered with wisdom instead of an assumption given through appearances alone. One of the most difficult truths to accept is that fake people are rarely obvious. If deception always looked threatening, no one would fall into its trap. Instead, it often arrives dressed in kindness, wrapped in compliments, and delivered with confidence. Those who are skilled at pretending understand that people naturally respond to warmth, attention, and shared emotions. They know how to mirror your interests, laugh at your jokes, encourage your dreams, and make you feel understood. This ability to perform sincerity is what makes them such convincing actors in the story of our lives. A fake person studies people more than they reveal themselves. They pay close attention to what makes others feel valued, what they long to hear, and what gains their trust. They adapt their personality to fit the situation, becoming whoever they need to be in order to receive acceptance, influence, or personal advantage. Around one group, they may appear humble and compassionate, while around another, they become confident and ambitious. Their identity shifts because their goal is not authenticity, but approval and opportunity. They understand that people often trust familiarity, so they create an illusion of closeness before genuine trust has had time to develop. This performance can continue for weeks, months, or even years. During that time, they may offer support when others are watching, celebrate your victories publicly, and speak words that sound deeply loyal. Yet beneath the surface, Their commitment depends on what they receive in return. The moment your success no longer benefits them, or your presence no longer serves their interests, their behavior begins to change. The encouragement fades, the enthusiasm disappears, and the loyalty that once seemed unshakable quietly vanishes. What felt like a lasting friendship is revealed to have been a carefully maintained performance. One reason these experiences hurt so deeply is that fake people often understand emotions very well. They know when you need comfort, when you seek reassurance, and when you are most vulnerable. Rather than respecting those moments, they may use them to strengthen your dependence on them. This creates confusion because the memories of their kindness are real, even if the motives behind those actions were not. It becomes difficult to separate genuine moments from calculated ones, leaving you questioning not only the relationship, but also your own judgment. Recognizing these patterns does not require becoming suspicious of everyone you meet. Instead, it calls for patience. Time has a remarkable way of exposing what appearances hide. Real character remains steady through changing circumstances, while performance becomes exhausting to maintain. Honest people do not need to remember which version of themselves they showed yesterday, because they are the same person wherever they go. Their words match their actions. Their values remain consistent, and their loyalty does not depend on convenience or personal gain. The most valuable protection against false people is not sharper criticism, but deeper observation. Listen less to promises and more to patterns. Notice how someone treats people who cannot offer them anything. Watch how they respond when you succeed, when you fail, or when you disagree with them. Authenticity reveals itself in consistency, while deception eventually creates contradictions that no performance can completely hide. The greatest actors may convince an audience for a season, but they cannot forever conceal the truth that every choice quietly reveals. Living in a world where deception exists does not mean we must become suspicious of everyone we meet. There is a significant difference between wisdom and fear. Fear assumes that every person is a threat, while wisdom understands that trust should be earned through time and experience. Protecting your peace is not about building walls so high that no one can enter your life. It is about building healthy boundaries that allow the right people to come closer while gently keeping harmful influences at a distance. This balance is one of the greatest forms of emotional maturity. Many people believe they must always be available, always forgiving, and always accommodating to prove they are kind. However, kindness without boundaries often becomes an invitation for manipulation. There are individuals who recognize generous hearts and mistake them for easy opportunities. They expect endless patience while offering little respect in return. They demand understanding but refuse accountability. Over time, this imbalance quietly drains emotional energy, leaving a person exhausted from constantly giving without receiving the same honesty and care. Protecting your peace begins with paying attention to how people make you feel over an extended period of time. Genuine relationships usually create a sense of security. Even during disagreements, you feel respected, heard, and valued without needing to earn someone's approval every day. In contrast, unhealthy relationships often leave behind confusion, anxiety, or self-doubt. You may find yourself overthinking simple conversations, questioning your worth, or constantly trying to avoid conflict. These emotional patterns are often signals that something deeper deserves your attention. Boundaries are sometimes misunderstood as acts of rejection, but they are actually acts of self-respect. Saying no to disrespect is not the same as rejecting another person. Choosing distance from dishonesty is not an act of revenge. Limiting access to those who repeatedly violate your trust does not make you cold or unforgiving. It simply acknowledges that your emotional well-being deserves protection. Every healthy relationship naturally respects limits because genuine care never demands the sacrifice of your dignity. Wisdom also teaches us that not every truth needs to be shared with everyone. Some dreams grow stronger when protected from unnecessary opinions. Some struggles are better carried among those who have consistently demonstrated compassion and discretion. There is no obligation to reveal every detail of your life to people who have not proven themselves trustworthy. Privacy is not secrecy. It is the careful stewardship of your personal world. The more selective you become about whom you trust with your vulnerabilities, the more secure your inner peace becomes. Another important part of protecting your peace is learning not to take every behavior personally. Fake people often reveal more about themselves than about those they mistreat. Their dishonesty, jealousy, or manipulation grows from their own unresolved struggles, not from your lack of value. While their actions may hurt, they do not define your worth. Responding with calm judgment instead of emotional reaction prevents their behavior from controlling your thoughts and decisions. The strongest response is often quiet clarity rather than loud confrontation, allowing you to move forward with confidence. Preserving your energy for relationships that are built on honesty, mutual respect, and genuine care rather than appearances or empty promises. Betrayal has a way of changing the way we see the world. When someone we trusted chooses dishonesty over loyalty, the pain often reaches far beyond the moment itself. It shakes our confidence, challenges our judgment, and leaves us wondering whether trust is worth offering again. Many people become trapped in this experience, carrying old wounds into new relationships and expecting every future connection to end the same way. Yet while betrayal can leave lasting scars, it does not have to become a prison. It can become one of life's most demanding teachers, offering lessons that comfort alone could never provide. Every painful experience carries the possibility of deeper understanding. Betrayal forces us to examine what we once overlooked. We begin to notice the warning signs we ignored, the excuses we repeatedly made, and the moments when our intuition quietly suggested that something was not right. These realizations are not meant to fill us with regret, but to strengthen our awareness. Wisdom is often born from experiences we would never have chosen, and some of life's clearest insights arrive only after disappointment removes the illusion we once believed. One of the greatest lessons betrayal teaches is the importance of valuing actions over promises. It reminds us that consistency matters more than impressive words, and that integrity reveals itself through repeated choices rather than emotional declarations. Someone may speak beautifully about loyalty, honesty, and friendship, but only time can confirm whether those values truly guide their life. Betrayal encourages us to become patient observers rather than quick believers, allowing trust to grow naturally instead of giving it away too easily. Another lesson hidden within betrayal is the discovery of our own resilience. In the middle of heartbreak, it often feels impossible to imagine moving forward. The loss of trust can make every relationship seem uncertain and every new beginning feel risky. Yet, as time passes, we slowly realize that we survived something we once believed would destroy us. We continue working, dreaming, laughing, and building meaningful connections despite what happened. This realization creates a quiet confidence that cannot be taken away because it is rooted in experience rather than optimism alone. Betrayal also teaches compassion, though not in the way many expect. It does not ask us to excuse harmful behavior or ignore injustice. Instead, it teaches us to understand that bitterness is a burden carried by the wounded, not the one who caused the wound. Holding on to anger for years gives the past more power than it deserves. Forgiveness, when it comes, is not always about restoring a broken relationship. Sometimes it is simply the decision to stop allowing someone else's choices to shape your future happiness. It is an act of releasing yourself from emotional chains rather than rewarding the person who caused the pain. The deepest transformation occurs when betrayal no longer defines your identity. Instead of seeing yourself as someone who was deceived, you begin to see yourself as someone who became wiser, stronger, and more discerning. You no longer measure your life by the people who disappointed you, but by the character you developed because of those experiences. The pain that once seemed unbearable gradually becomes part of your foundation, reminding you that while trust should be offered with care, your capacity to grow through adversity is far greater than any betrayal you may encounter along the way. Building relationships rooted in honesty, integrity, and self-respect requires more than simply finding the right people. It begins with becoming the kind of person who values truth above convenience and character above appearance. Every healthy relationship is built on a foundation that cannot be created overnight. It grows through countless small moments of consistency, mutual respect, and shared trust. While charm may create a quick connection, only integrity can sustain it through the challenges that every meaningful relationship eventually faces. Honesty is the first pillar of lasting relationships because it creates an environment where people feel safe to be themselves. Honest people do not pretend to be perfect, nor do they hide behind carefully crafted images designed to impress others. They are willing to admit mistakes, accept responsibility, and communicate openly even when the truth is uncomfortable. This kind of transparency builds confidence because it removes the uncertainty that often exists in relationships based on appearances. When people know they can rely on each other's words, trust becomes stronger with every shared experience. Integrity takes honesty one step further. It is the quiet commitment to doing what is right, even when no one is watching. A person with integrity treats others with the same respect in private that they show in public. They do not speak kindly to someone's face while criticizing them behind their back. They keep promises because their word reflects their character, not because they fear being judged. Their actions remain aligned with their values regardless of changing circumstances. This consistency creates stability, allowing relationships to flourish without constant doubt or suspicion. Self-respect is equally important because it determines the standards we set for the people we allow into our lives. Those who value themselves understand that love and friendship should never require sacrificing dignity, peace, or personal values. They recognize that healthy relationships involve mutual effort, shared responsibility, and equal respect. They are not afraid to walk away from situations where dishonesty, manipulation, or repeated disrespect become normal. Choosing distance from harmful relationships is not a sign of weakness, but a declaration that personal well-being matters. Meaningful relationships also require patience. In a world that encourages instant connections, it is tempting to trust too quickly or expect deep loyalty after only a short time. However, genuine trust develops gradually. It is strengthened by repeated demonstrations of reliability, compassion, and accountability. Time reveals whether someone's kindness is consistent or conditional, whether their support remains steady during both success and struggle. Relationships that endure are rarely built through dramatic promises, but through ordinary moments of faithfulness, repeated over many seasons of life. Another essential quality of strong relationships is mutual growth. The right people inspire you to become wiser, kinder, and more confident without demanding that you abandon your authentic self. They celebrate your achievements without jealousy, offer honest guidance without humiliation, and encourage your dreams without hidden competition. Their presence brings peace rather than confusion, strength rather than insecurity, and hope rather than fear. These relationships become places where trust deepens naturally because both people are committed to truth instead of performance. As life unfolds, the number of people around you becomes far less important than the quality of those who remain. A small circle filled with honesty, integrity, loyalty, and genuine care is worth infinitely more than countless connections built on appearances or convenience. When your relationships are guided by truth, protected by self-respect, and strengthened by consistent character, you create a life where trust is no longer a gamble, but a reflection of wisdom, allowing your heart to remain open without ever becoming careless.